Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, all you fellow fruit-catching fans. It is I, JB Hyperion, joined by the wonderful Chicken Bible, and this is the Oscatch World Cup. Finals week 2, the third place match brought to you. How are you doing today?
I am doing great, dude. I am super excited for these matches. You know, we get to see first match of the day. We have China versus Chile. On the side of China, we got Dusk, Kanemi and Reno 2, Sakurana Karimu, Crystal, Nagi, Kalyanet. You know, these same 6 people have been fighting for years together. Last year, they replaced Kalyanet for, I believe it was Kasumi. This year, Kalyanet is back. On the side of Chile, you got Lion QDXZ, Elden L, Nico, Nacho L, Raciel, otherwise known as Quit User, and Legigwin.
Yeah, fantastic matchup, as you said, one that we're very much looking forward to. This is the losers bracket final, so both of these teams have been defeated once and once only in the knockout stages thus far. China were the victims of South Korea in last week's winners bracket final. Chile. We've got to go back a little bit to find Chile's defeat. Chile's defeat was to China in the semi-finals.
Yes, this is a rematch.
2 weeks ago, so this is a rematch from their semi-final encounter. You are correct. China came out 7-2 victorious on that occasion, but they were victorious in the finals 7-1 against your boys, the US, and then 7-5 in that thriller against Mexico, the last match on stream last week.
Oh yeah, that Mexico match was absolutely astounding, but we have to say, this isn't the first time these two teams have met in a third place match. Bringing it back to last year, we had both these teams fight off against it for the third place match again, and you know who the victor was? China, because they won the whole thing last year against the USA in the finals. So this year, maybe Chile's hoping they can bring it back, do something, change it up a little bit, because I believe they've only lost to China. I don't think they've ever beaten China. I might be wrong on that, but I don't know. It might have been a long time ago when Chile got that first place, back in 2014, I think it was. Some long time ago.
Chile would have lost their first match against USA in the winners bracket final last year, but most years they seem to be eliminated by China. I think you're correct on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to look back at 2018's World Cup.
It must have been a long time ago. Because back in 2017, 2016, Chile didn't really have the greatest of competitive tournament rosters. They always had great players, but none of them really could show up to tournaments. Then they got Elden L and kind of brought back a life in the team, it seems. Anyways, it seems like we're going to be getting right onto warm-ups pretty soon here.
Good, because I can't wait much longer for these.
Oh yeah.
I'm so excited, as you said.
Gotta bring in the Camellia World Cup with this one, you see.
Do we have any Camellia maps in this pool? Obviously last round was very Camellia-esque.
Gonna be starting one off with the Camellia warm-up though, with Koi Sky. That's a nice combination right there. Difficulty Song is nice though.
Song is nice though.
True.
So in last year's tournament, China were the victors, 7-2 in that losers bracket final. This year, 96% of people are touting China for another victory to make it back to the grand final tomorrow. Would you agree with them?
96% is a lot. So while I do give the big upper hand to China here, 96%, I'd say that's a little high. I'd say maybe 85% chance for China to take it. That's what I think personally.
I think some people, myself included to a certain extent, that Chile was slightly fortunate in their drawing to make it through to the winners bracket final in last year's tournament. Like, they performed well, but they didn't have the toughest of challenges until those final 2 matchups. This year, I think, as a team, they look much more well-rounded, and they have been tested substantially as the tournament's gone on, so maybe they are better prepared for the World Cup this year. China look just as dangerous and strong as they do every year, as you said. It's the same, well, 6 of the 7 same players that have participated in every Chinese Catch World Cup tournament since like 2016, I think.
It's been a long time these same people have been playing. Honestly, I think it might.
Yeah, whilst China still probably have the upper hand, I think the gap is considerably closed this year, so hopefully we'll see a closer encounter, higher stakes.
Something to look at for the side of China is last week they really didn't have that strong of a performance versus Korea. You know, some people could say, oh, it's Korea, no wonder they're gonna lose by quite a bit, but even in their match, they looked pretty weak, I'd say, compared to what most people would expect from China. As you could see, if any of you follow Twitter in CTB, Nagi himself was expressing frustrations with how he played in the match versus Korea, saying it was one of the worst tournament matches he ever played. So hopefully he can bring himself back up and, you know, play good this time.
Yeah,
at least up to his
to
standards.
recover from that, but of course, so was everyone else. New map pool, new challenges. Talking a bit more about the South Korea versus China match last week, as you mentioned. I think South Korea took 2 break points right at the beginning to go 3-0 up, and it seemed like China just didn't know what they wanted to pick, and they got kind of rolled over right from the beginning. Yeah, they did make a comeback with those 2 game wins in pick 4 when they eventually went to double time with Sunset March, and then again on Squall, which was the South Korean pick. They did win a break point, but South Korea pretty comprehensively outplayed them in most areas. Even the games that China won wasn't by a convincing margin, I would say.
Yeah, it was kind of like very close even on those match points, or those break points. Dude, this song is a nice song.
But you got another 2 minutes
of that.
It's about halfway through.
That is long. Oh, what the? Those are pretty
that
far.
Was pretty insane SV, yeah.
Reminds me of the Sinnoh map. Just a little bit.
Which one? There's been quite a few of them.
Oh god, there's been too many.
Ooh. Mappa drama.
hey, they're good. They do their job. I like them for the most part.
What do you think
especially
of this,
like from I.
Grand Finals pool, by the way. It's the first time we've had a new pool specifically for the final
It is. You know, I think this Grand Finals pool is actually similar level to last year's final, which I kind of was expecting it to be a bit harder, personally. It seems like they went to the route of making finals a bit easier, and then this Grand Finals, the level of finals from last year, which, you know, that's an okay route. I thought it would have been harder, but it works out. The Nomad pool seems a bit imbalanced, but I think it works out too in the fact that you have the specifics that are relatively easy, the first 2, and then you have the CLSW map, I can't think of the name, Code Crimson. Yeah, that one's just like way out there, it's super hard compared to most of the other maps. And then the 2 Converse, I'd be willing to bet there's not going to be a single FC throughout all these 3 matches, if we have 3.
Months of supporter again.
Oh god, I already lost that bet last week. Mauricio assessed the map last week, and I paid him out the 1 month supporter.
What a hero. So that is warm-up numero 1 concluded. We didn't see too much of the chat before the lobby started, so I'm not sure exactly whose selection this was.
I feel like that was China's for some reason. I don't know. It feels like something that Dusk would like to play. Oh yeah, that was definitely China's.
Yeah. This is a quit user map. Or it's a Razor Sharp difficulty, but a quick user set.
This is also in the pool too.
This is in the map pool, right?
Yeah,
or not this
not this
particular difficulty, but...
Yeah, the Quartz difficulty is the one that's in the map pool.
Yeah, the XX. Because 1X wasn't enough.
Dude, that map is so hard. Oh god. I tried playing it a little bit this morning so I could, like, you know, get a feel of the map pool, see what these guys are gonna be playing. Oh god. I kept missing. It's not a good time. So many jumps.
see if I can find this particular set whilst we wait for them to load in. Find out a bit more information about it. I'm sure it's probably floating around in the graveyard somewhere.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
sure
it's
how
gotta
big
be
it is.
somewhere.
Circle size of 4.2, HP drain of 7, approach rate of 9.7, 7.55 stars in difficulty.
That seems about typical for this, you know, type of song. Very fast BPM if I remember correctly.
220.
Yeah, it's pretty fast.
Feeling when Circle People has more viewers than CWC. Share the hype, spread the love, get more people watching. It's only the grand finals, guys.
I believe it's the Caver event that's going on right now over there, right? Yeah. I know a lot of my boys out there. Shout out to Sartin, fellow commentator.
Yeah, we saw him streaming from the event a couple days ago. He looked like he was having a great time. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
Yaz is there as well.
Yep, one of the referees
referee.
this year. Yep. You know, I actually had a video call with Sartin and some of the other people there kind of passed me around the Burger King that they were eating at.
It's like, hi, hello, next
So
person.
many good catch players in just one spot. There were so many top players. Anyways, getting right into the second warm up here. Not all playing with Hard Rock.
I mean, it's already 7.5 stars. What's a little bit extra difficulty?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
We haven't done a little survey of the Twitch chat yet. How is everyone doing so far today? Hope you're having a great day. Very excited for this most epic of encounters. Get your predictions for roles first out in the chat. We'd love to see who you guys think is going to win, and obviously from there, who is going to take the match and the remaining grand final spot against South Korea. Who are you cheering for?
You know,
If there's any
I want
new people who we've never witnessed a World Cup or even catch before, welcome to the stream. Do feel free to ask any questions. Sorry, Chicken Bible, continue.
It's okay. I want Chile to win. I want China to not get top 2 because they've always gotten top 2, it seems. That'd be a spicy outcome. Chile and Korea in the grand finals. I believe that would be a new grand finals, wouldn't it?
Chile have only been in one grand finals, which is one they won in 2013. I'll have a look and find
That
out
actually might have been versus Korea.
who their opposition were that year. If you give me just a second. Too many stats to pour through, it's all very interesting. They played against Taiwan in the grand final.
I didn't expect that one.
Taiwan eliminated South Korea in the quarterfinals. It was a single elimination tournament back then.
Ah, yeah. You know, I think this is a new podium for us too. I don't think we've ever had a Chile, China, Korea podium.
I still think 2014 was the oddest podium by, like, at least current catch standards. South Korea, Germany, Sweden.
Oh yeah.
That's a bit of a
That
throwback.
Sweden run that year, that was actually the time that I started playing CTB. Oh my god, I watched that Sweden run. I remember
That
one
was
map
my
that
first World Cup as a viewer.
Yukiteru Amano was popping off on that match, and then he failed a map, I remember. And it was so sad because it was right at the end. Sorry, Yukiteru, I have to call you out a little bit there. goals in edge 52-23, 44-89. Get to see Dusk casually assessing the map, you know, just Dusk things. Don't worry about it. Oh,
I think
those
that's
are
a
a lot of
fail
fails.
from Crystal, which has lost us our music.
Oh, those are quite a few fails. Not just Crystal. But you know, Dusk still assessing. Whole time. Finishes off with an SS.
He's alright at the game, really.
Just expect that from every single map, pretty much, I'd say.
Apart from those converts, which nobody's going to FC.
You know, he might be able to get to 100% on the maps, but not really doing so hot on the rolls, getting a 3.
Duska's had some good rolls over the tournaments, but this is not one of his best. There's still a 1 in 50 chance that Chile roll a 1 or a 2, but that's a 92, just a little bit more than 3. There's some more hot maths, some quick maths with me, JBH. Remember that F-fan clip from last year?
Quick maths.
Still makes me chuckle today. 92 is definitely more than 3, so Chile will decide to pick first. And yes, go back to your previous statement. We have to go back to 2014 when China were last not on the podium.
Yeah.
They were
So
second
long
in
ago.
15, winners in 16, second in 17, and then winners again last year.
So that means they're getting second this year, based on the trend.
It's an
Oh,
odd year,
silly
so
grid.
South Korea win, China comes second, yeah.
Yeah, true.
China being asked to ban first. They're going to be taking Emil Autumn's I Know Where You Sleep off the table. Not really a surprise. Chile, a very strong hidden
Oh, yeah.
team, and that is definitely an interesting pick. I was surprised to see that in the hidden
Yeah,
in particular.
me too,
Well,
honestly.
knowing the kind of evil nature of the map selectors, I don't want to say I was surprised, but
Still surprising. I figured that most people would ban that map coming in. I've talked to some of the players on all 3 teams, and they don't really feel that confident on the map itself. I know one person on one of the 3 teams, I'm not going to say who because of, you know, integrity and stuff, but they had 102 misses on their first try. So, yeah, it's not a good sign.
Chile are going to be taking a fairly obvious ban of their own, taking Croatian Rhapsody, the double time pick off the table. China have pretty much first, second, and even third pick double time in almost every match they've played so far this tournament, so that seems like a fairly sensible ban from them.
And then Chile coming in with the first pick, Aurora too. Oh, I love this song. Susumu Hirasawa, Kirby Mix. The good
Kevin
stuff.
Mix is a standard staple of the Catch World Cup, especially in the later
yeah.
stages of the tournament.
You know, I wonder, is Dusk going to play this? Because Dusk has been getting better at low AR hidden, but I don't think he's gotten to the point where you can play AR7 hidden yet. That's
He
the
has
big
dropped
thing.
immediately out of the lobby, so I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
answers the question.
Because he's
Whilst
gotten
we-
really good.
Whilst we wait for China to bring in 2 new players, GD Lenny and F-Fan, thank you very much for 12 and 14 months of subscription to us live. Great to have you back. Happy to have you supporting the stream.
You know, if China is wanting to see a strong performance out of Nagi, I think this is the best map that Nagi can start off with. This is actually one of his favorite songs to play. I know he's been talking about it in several places. That he loves this song. So maybe he'll come out strong and have a big confidence boost. You know, where is Lechigwin is what I'm wondering. Isn't Lechigwin the low AR hidden player for Chile?
Rissiel saying hashtag blame Lechiguin in the chat,
Oh,
so
boy.
maybe he's unavailable for some reason.
Oh no.
That would be a bit of a problematic encounter if that was the case. But this is Chile's first pick, so they must still feel very comfortable on this one,
Yeah.
even without him.
It's a very strong first pick versus China. You know, Dusk being weaker on lower AR hidden. Crystal, while being relatively decent at it, he's not always gonna do very good. Nagi being one of the best lower yard hidden players in the game, I'd say. But on the side of Chile, you got Lion QJXD and Eldno, who are both old school hidden players who've just been playing the game for so long. They probably played this map several times too.
Grew up playing this, not just this map, but obviously this kind of style of convert, the very much slower, smaller circle size type of pick.
You know, I'm just realizing now that all 6 players that are playing right now, they've been playing this game for so long. It's kind of surprising. I think each of them have been playing for like 4 or 5 years at least. See early misses from Mauricio and Nagi, as well as the one right at the beginning from Eldno.
It could be another drop from Mauricio and Line dropping as well there. China would be with a triple FC if not for that very early miss from Nagi. We've seen throughout the tournament that early misses don't have as much impact as misses in the middle, but this is not a map where many people are going to be holding large combos for any significant period of time. This could be completely swayed by just one person going on a tear and getting a good combo. Dusk sees a couple of drops there, but Line and Arisial counter it. Nagi drops as well. It's Eldnil versus Crystal. China have built up a decent lead at the moment though. About
100k point lead.
100,000 points, yeah.
Yeah. Real question is, can Crystal and Eldna both hit this upcoming part? I believe it starts to get a little bit harder in the upcoming parts. Yep, because the Kia is coming in right about now. It's really important that you hold a combo in these intro parts to see Arisial missing again.
Eldnil back over 98% accuracy as Nagi trades a miss as well. Coming up to the halfway mark now. Still Crystal versus Eldnil. They can see each other's scores in these breaks.
Yeah, they see
China
the lead.
Know
right
they
now.
have the advantage.
This part is very, very tricky. As you see Crystal and Nagi missing. But it's
Eldnil
followed up by
follows
Eldno.
immediately after though.
Line is the only one
Line's-
with an FC.
Yeah,
with the
Line
combo.
has that 200 combo though. Even
Yeah, that's
though
gonna
he
bring
doesn't
the
have the
score
FC, he can still bring the score difference back.
That part is super hard to hit. The scores are probably going to even out a little bit over here. It's going to
Down
be
to
really
50k
close.
at the moment. And it's going to continue increasing. Or decreasing the gap, sorry. Nobody has a combo aside from Lion. He knows he has to keep this combo now to keep shrinking that score gap.
Just
Just
missed
with
it
another
again.
drop.
Score's about to flip. Maybe pretty soon, I'd say. But Line misses. Oh.
Crucial drop. Line held onto it for as long as he could, and he's wiped out most of that score deficit, but it's still about 40,000 points with 1/3 of the map to go.
Combos are near equal, too. We're going to have one more Ki coming up, which is going to be a bit of the harder part.
Eldnil, the only player still holding an S rank with that 98% accuracy right now.
All of Chile just broke.
Yeah,
still broke.
Crystal and Nagi holding on to those combos still. China's advantage is going to skyrocket back up again now.
Oh, they hit those staircases, too. But then they missed the second one.
Definitely the easier one of the two.
Yeah.
But at this point, China have built out a commanding lead.
If China finds one more miss, it might be possible. I don't think it's going to happen. This ending is relatively easy.
Crystal does see the miss, but I think it's too late. It's going to be a fairly convincing opening breakpoint for China in this third place match, assuming nobody fails the ending.
Oh, yeah.
Eldnil does see a drop right at the end there, but it's not enough to tip the scales. China, with the advantage, taking that first point. 1-0, and it's a break point.
Dude, that's got to be a bit brutal for Chile. As you see, Aristiel coming in with a lower score by about 100,000 points. You got to think, was he practiced to play that, or was Lechiquin going to be that person to play that? I don't know. You gotta think, if Lechigun was there, would that map have gone differently?
Well, if Lechigun was there, they would probably my question is not what would have happened if Lechigun was there, but why was that still their first pick?
Yeah.
If they knew Lechigun wasn't going to be there.
Because I think LJNL and Lion QDXC can go even with Nagi and Dusk. Where Aricio kind of gets beat out by Crystal on those hidden picks. Anyways, going into the next pick from China. First pick from China. We have Lunicode, Hatsugura, Convert, DT4.
Imagine China first picking double time. What a universe we live in.
This is the biggest shock I've ever seen. Would have never expected this in any world.
Yeah, Aricio saying he was not supposed to play that map, explaining his struggles.
Makes sense. It's kind of like, oh, I guess you're playing this. Get out there, bud. Do your best.
This is an interesting difficulty that we've been given on the client.
Oh yeah, you're right about that.
Not quite the correct map. Well, let's look and get that fixed as soon as possible. Please bear with.
Time to play Taiko in CTB, and Wolf says, alright, we're Taiko World Cup now. Where's my boy Incandescence?
Where's R18? He's not even playing in this match.
Ah, true.
He's got to wait till tomorrow.
The next one, though.
He wouldn't mind this journey to Taiko World Cup, I think. Obviously,
Yeah, true.
being a third place participant in the South Korean roster for this year's Taiko World Cup.
I believe Rockma also plays Taiko a little bit too. I think he's like rank 1000, I think. I don't know, but he's pretty up there, if I remember correctly. Dude, I kind of want to see like what would happen if you took World Cup rosters from one mode and put them on another mode. That'd be
The
so
whole
interesting.
like the whole OSCatch roster, if you just put them into like playing.
Yeah,
main.
like another mode. That'd be so cool, honestly. Like, I think China would probably be one of the best standard teams, obviously, because they have Crystal. But USA last year probably would have been really good, too.
You had Electro, didn't you?
Yeah, we had Electro and Playboy. Playboy used to be one of the top
yeah, of
USA
course.
players in standard.
Two excellent all-mode players.
Yeah.
Is Electro like number one in all-mode PP?
Yes, he is, I think.
I think he still is. Like all these people that are like trying to get good in one mode, and then there's like, oh dude, I'm good in 4 modes, get on my level.
Dude, we should set up a tournament for that. Alright, I'm gonna call Startin after this, say, hey Startin, make a CTB tournament, but everyone plays Mania instead, or something like that.
Or make a CTB tournament, but invite everyone from the Taiko World Cup rosters.
Exactly, that'd be so cool. Anyways, getting on to the next map here. See Calumet and Erasal opting with Hidden on their double time. Probably the most expected 3-man rosters for both these teams on double time. Nacho L, Eldenel, and Erasal on the side of Chile, Calumet, Crystal, and Dusk inside China. See the first miss coming in from Calumet, followed up by Eldenel and Nacho Elda right on these streamy sections. This is going to be a nice time for China to get points.
Several drops there. Eldenel's seen some more as well. Risiel drops as well. Dusk down. Crystal the only 4 combo left. Calumet's back up at 200 combo.
It's
Crystal
gone.
drops, but Calumet is perfectly placed to continue that advantage with the 200 combo.
Every single member of China outscoring their components of Chile. This map is relatively short, only coming in at 150, so these combos are very important as we see Erasal and Nacho L finding more misses. I think it's about to seal the deal.
Right as he got 200 combo as well, so no combos remaining on the side of Chile. Calumet drops, but Crystal and Dusk now hitting 300. China have eked out a massive advantage here, even with that drop from Crystal and Calumet. Arisial goes down again, another triple miss from Chile. Calumet down, Dusk still holding up, nearly 500 now.
He's hitting everything and everyone else is missing.
Yeah, the rest of the match is falling apart around him, but Dusk stands strong, just 2 misses. As expected almost from him at this point in time, and it's scary that that's normal for this player.
You know, last year when USA versus China, it was in the grand finals. It was like Dusk, we're expecting him to FC every map. You know, that's that kind of team that China is. Once they lose, they're going to keep going, and they're going to get even better and better with how far the match goes on. So, impressive play from Dusk, nonetheless. Great plays from Crystal and
the appreciation coming out from even the Chilean players. They're surprised with that one. Great performance from him.
Every member of China getting a higher score than the Chilean members, respectively.
As to be expected from a team that's picked double time basically dry in every single match they've played.
Oh yeah, but then again, Chile is a strong double time team too.
This is the problem that Chilean roster have, is that their strengths are also China's strengths.
Yeah, and except China's like slightly better.
Yeah, just a little bit. Anything that Chile's like, we're good at this, let's pick this. They know for a fact that China is also going to be really good at it. And if, in most cases, as you said, maybe just a tiny bit better. There's definitely not as much of a skill gap between these two teams as there have been in previous years. But at the end of the day, even if you win by 1 point, that's still a game victory for you. And if you win by 1 point 7 times, that's a 7-0 scoreline. Like, 7-0 doesn't reflect that close match, but at the end of the day, if you win, you win.
You know, I wonder what Chile is going to go for with this next pick, too. They lost on their hidden pick. The last 2 hidden picks aren't low AR picks. Both the 2 low AR hidden maps are banned or picked out. Maybe they go for Hard Rock?
Maybe they picked hidden first as a kind of testing the waters, like can we still kind of do well on hidden even without Lechuguin?
Maybe.
And maybe now they've decided hidden's not such a good idea for us, so we'll have to look towards No Mod or Hard Rock. They have to imagine China are going to pick the remaining DT stuff for them, so there's no point in going to that.
That's definitely going to happen.
The good thing for Chile is if they lose here and China picks double, they'll be able to ban one of the 2 double times.
Actually going back to hidden, kind of surprising me.
The convert as well, Zenryoku Happy Life.
Map by Haley. You know, I feel like Haley is becoming the new Hollowings for CTV. Would you agree with me on that?
Unconventional style. Lots of high slider velocities and kind of awkward, weird kick slider spacings.
Yeah, it's just when you see like some map that's like, what is this? You just think, oh, it's a Haley map. You see to be kind of similar to how you thought of Hollowings map when you think a few years ago.
We could do another one of those. Is this a Hollow Wings or a Os Capture map?
God.
It's like, just kidding. They were all Hollow Wings maps.
Not like this. AR equals note speed, right? Yes, AR is the approach rate. How fast notes fall down the screen. It goes up to 10 unless you put on double time, then it can go up to 11.
This one rocking in at 8.7, so might seem kind of on the higher end, but this is slightly below what most people feel more comfortable playing hidden-wise. Like, at this level of play, I think 9 is considered like the normal. Anything lower than that is low AR hidden in inverted kind of commas. It's definitely nowhere near as slow as the Aurora 2 map that we've seen previously.
That thing is slow. I think AR 8.7 is just in the kind of sweet spot where it's like, it's not too low that you have to change up your playstyle when you're playing AR 9 hidden. So it's like, kind of doing good on it for the most part. Elena pointing out Nagi where, that is a very good point. There he is.
Right on cue.
my cursitating is on a different level because I'm cursitating the players to join the lobby, you know.
Go on, do it. I dare you.
Alright, we're gonna have Lechuguin popping now.
He's gonna join like 1 second before they ready up.
Dude, that'd be so
Waiting for me.
surprised.
So it's hidden endurance pick time for game 3. China currently with a 2-0 lead. Chile deciding that even without Lechuguin, they're going to stick with hidden. Arisial sitting this one out. They're going to try Nacho L instead. Just looking to get a point on the board, settle the nerves.
Nagi coming in with the first miss. Very uncharacteristic, to be honest. Maybe he's having another off day.
Throughout the tournament, we have seen people miss early and then kind of come back to FC the rest of the map. Sometimes it's like a slow internet, kind of, you lag a little bit loading from the client into the match. Sometimes it's just that kind of, you put too much pressure on yourself. Like, I'm not at this level of play, but I know for a fact that if I've already missed and I'm not expecting to full combo or set a particularly good score, I feel so much less pressured to kind of hit more difficult patterns later on. And then it's like, I can't hit this when I'm on an FC run. What's going on?
Yeah, it's like that one time you get a random miss and you're like, ah, screw it, I'll keep on going and playing, and then you end up FCing the rest of the map and you're just like, why? I had
another miss from Crystal there though, so only Dusk with the FC remaining on the side of China. Chile with the triple FC. Only 1/4 of the way through the map, so there's still plenty of time for China to come back into this one. But Chile eking out a healthy advantage.
Almost everybody missing actually. So all the combos are reset. Chile has a nice little advantage of about 45,000 points. Combos are even.
Yeah, we saw Line and Crystal holding on a little bit longer than everyone else, but eventually they too fell. So, as you said, Chile with about the 40,000 point lead right now, and since everyone's below 200 combo and roughly the same point, that lead isn't going to be shrinking or growing until we see another miss. And there is another miss. Nagi again dropping.
Right at 200 combo too.
A little bit. Yeah, that is the worst place to miss. Just when you start getting at maximum score per fruit.
But Elden and Line
missed Chile though.
That's probably going to even it out a little bit. Maybe a little bit still in Chile's favor, I'd say. But it's going to bring it really close.
40,000 point advantage, and since this is quite long, Crystal going to drop as well. Eldenal dropping as well though. Double miss, Nacho and a Dusk down. It's just Nagi with a 200 combo now. And he drops along with Crystal. Line QTXZ now leading the way as Eldenal sees another drop with one
hit all those to go. As soon as I was about to say he hit all those jumps, he misses on the easier ones.
A triple miss from Chile, but Nagi the only player on China with a decent combo, so they're not going to be bringing that back as fast as they maybe would do.
Oh yeah, everybody. You can't even keep up with this anymore.
Yeah,
how are you
dropping
supposed to
like
hit that?
flies?
You're not supposed to hit that pattern. I saw that. That's dirty. But China
just squeezed into the lead.
Yeah. They also have a higher combo.
The sole reason that China are taking the lead now is not because they've had any big combos, but Chile have just spent so long at like that 20 to 50 combo mark where you're earning so much less per fruit than you would do otherwise. Combo being like logarithmically scaling in Score V2.
So last Kia is going to decide it all pretty much. Crystal, Nagi, Lion, and everybody except for Dusk. Dusk is holding on with the only 200 combo left. This is going to be huge for the team of China. They're going to build up massive points right here.
They've got about 30,000 points as it is, and that's going to increase with Line missing, Eldenal missing as well. Nacho the only combo, but everyone on China outpaces his combo. China are running away with this one in the closing moments.
Power of Dusk. finds a break, but Crystal is back up to 200 combo. Never mind, he's gone. But I think this score combo is too much to come back from at this point. With only just about maybe 30 seconds left in the map, give or take.
Might be even less than that, I think.
Yeah, it's
Just one
coming
long
to an end.
spinner to close it.
That's going to be point number 3 for China. Getting another break point on another hidden map.
Very evenly matched between the two teams, and Chile did have the advantage for a significant portion of that, but they just struggled in like that last third to kind of build any kind of significant combo. China were missing regularly too, but were just carrying on a little bit longer, getting a little bit more out of their combos than Chile did. So second break point, 3-0 to China, and Chile can ban a second map using their comeback.
Yep.
You got to imagine it's going to be one of the two double time picks,
It
either
has to.
Brianak or Shukusai at this point.
I think you ban Shukusai and hope for a fail or something on Brianak, I think that might be the play. I think China's going to always beat you on those consistency long picks, you know, that Shukusai is.
Yeah, both teams obviously great double time teams. China slightly taking the advantage on that one, and they have picked double time a lot in their matches. They have favored convert double time, at least initially, over specifics. The flowing kind of nature of specific patterns does lend itself a little bit more comfortably to people who aren't as experienced in double time, whereas like the snappy combat patterns require precision, catcher control, just being able to dash and then stop instantly to avoid missing huge swaths of notes. So maybe that's what they'll go for.
The only thing it is though is that Brianak is a really hard pick for double time, even for the Chilean players. I don't know if they'll feel confident enough that they can even pass the map or beat China on it. Maybe Shukusai, they feel they could maybe do it. I don't know. Brianak is air 9.2 with double time, which is quite a bit high, especially in a tournament setting. Yep, we see Chile banning Brianak actually instead of Shukusai. Now we're gonna see Dust gonna go right back to double time, I assume. Unless he wants to throw a wrench in there and pick a hard rock.
Some of the denser, faster hard rock picks we saw, like Assailant in the Night, was it?
That was hard rock. Yep.
Yeah, in the previous pool. Like that felt almost like a double time pick based on the BPM.
Yeah.
So
A little bit.
But it will be Shukusai no Elementalia, their first selection. The last remaining double time pool. Once again, just wiping double times, just clean out from the map pool. Wanting to get as many points in that pool as they can.
Oh, you know Korea's watching this and like, double time. Okay.
Well,
gotta be ready for that.
It's been fairly obvious throughout the entire tournament that double time has been China's go-to. I don't think this should be a surprise to South Korea. It does give you a little bit of indication if China do advance to the grand final of how good they are on each individual double time pick and which one, if any, they're gonna prioritize as their ban.
That's really the big advantage of being in that winner's bracket in the last match, in the winner's final. Not just the bracket reset that you have two chances, you know, but you also get to see in the match before what these teams are strong and weak on. Yeah, the song is actually so good. I love this song. Brings back so many memories. Mapper is still in, obviously, I guess difficulty though. Very old standard mapper. See the two lineups for these teams: China, Calumet, Dusk, Crystal; Chile, Aristiel, Eldenel, and Nico. Back to the three standard players from each team that we would usually see for double time.
Lots of love for Shukusai in the chat, it seems. If anyone wants to map this, I'm not sure if Minato Yukina's set is still alive, but you can have a free bad old rain difficulty from me if you want.
I'm gonna poke him with it. I'm gonna be like, hey, wink, wink. You know.
He needs a spread Vados. He was waiting on one from Ascendance, but I think with Nat, he's not going to be receiving that one.
Alright, well, I'm going to be making it then.
Man's too busy. Save the day.
I'll save the day. Anyways,
Nico with the early drop. Dust
followed by
trading
Dusk.
it right back, yeah.
Not who you'd expect for the first misses. But Dusk has had a tendency to get like 1 or 2 misses on these maps and just FC the rest of it. So
Everyone
many
down
far
from
jumps.
Chile now, Arisiel and Eldenal having both dropped.
Yep.
Still 2 FCs from Crystal and Kalyanet, both on the side of China.
Dude, this is like China's bread and butter right here. You know, that homemade meal that you come home from after work? This is it, pretty much.
This is their comfort food, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When you're not sure what else you want, throw on some Convert DT.
Long
Eldenal,
jumpy
few drops there. Arisiel building that combo back up nicely, but Nico gonna drop again. All combos, as I said,
Double.
Dusk and Crystal both dropping on that slider stream. Kalyanet still holding double S though. Chile slightly narrowing the gap here, but it's swelled to over 100,000 at this stage already. And we're over halfway through the map.
Kalyanet is still SSing, even with Hidden on, too. China is just too strong on this.
I mean, we kind of expect it, but seeing it
is even-
live in front of you is
Yeah.
kind of still quite scary.
Like, this is something else, too. Kalyanet finally breaking on that final stream, though.
Well, it gets faster, just in case that wasn't hard enough for you.
Yeah, just a little bit. Dude, the thing is that these Chilean scores, they're not even bad either. See their accuracies is really high. It's just
All
that
over 99.
China
yeah.
is like... Look at the way they're hitting these streams, especially Dusk. But wait, is that a fail from Crystal?
I think so. He tried to wiggle one of the repeat sliders and it totally threw him out of sync, out of canter. And he just dropped an entire stream there. And I don't think he could recover in time.
The multiplayer link says that he passed, though, so... I think that might have been China's point. Says that red team wins by 407,000 points. It seems that Crystal was able to recover at the very end, but the client shows a fail for some reason.
Crystal finished playing 984,952 passed. So there you go.
Yeah.
Client obviously not indicating that recovery must have been just in the nick of time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have confirmation from Deef, fellow referee, saying that all players passed. That was a little bit of a shocker there for a second though. It's like, oh, is China gonna lose the double time? No way. But we're back in reality now.
So Chile have picked Hidden twice and lost twice by fairly narrow margins, I think it's safe to say. They have one Hidden available. It's a specific, quite a quick one as well. End-roll mapped by Eno. Nomad and Hard Rock are both untouched. The saving grace for Chile right now is that even though they're 4-0 down, the bane of their existence, double time, has been removed from the map.
True, it's gone. There's only one more Hidden too, so they can't. Maybe they'll pick it again and lose on it again. Maybe they've learned from their mistakes and they won't go for Hidden again. I really want to see a Hard Rock pick. I feel like that'd be something to see.
Amphysbina from the Nomad pool going to be Chile's next pick by the look of things. Nomad number 2. Very interesting, like Lion saying the hidden pool needs more low AR maps. And then they pick Amphysbina, which is like 9.7.
It's high.
It's pretty speedy.
Just pick the Chroma Eye if you want a low AR. Not Ascendance Chroma Eye, but you know, the Chara one. Fun Ray. two different Chroma eyes.
You mean Stir?
Oh god.
Chara or Plus?
Most Gangster. Don't even get me started on how many of their names there are. I think there's like 5.
I keep telling him he should do like a collab with all of his other aliases, like older mapping styles.
Yeah.
And just
I know
map
CLSW did that.
one crazy collab diff name.
CLSW did that on Dogfight.
Dogfight, he had like
Yeah.
Cut by
Ground Swim.
CLSW, Salad by Cloud Swimmer, Platter by Minato Yukina, Rain
Yeah.
by
Dies,
Dies, and then Overdose by Minato Yukina.
That was funny.
That was funny.
Not many people who can actually say they've had so many names they've established themselves as a mapper on. Getting right into the map fairly quickly here. This is one of the more standard Nomad picks. I'd say it's probably the easiest pick out of the pool. Not too sure. Maybe Gigas' Mental Break is a bit easier than this, but they're still really hard.
It's primarily a kind of a speed and snapping based challenge,
Yeah.
which is very common in the current kind of catch meta. So it's definitely more accessible to most people than some of the other selections.
Definitely a bit more so on the snapping side, especially. There's a lot of far 1/2 jumps in this that you can get caught out on very easily. Oh yeah, something else in this map. Big spinners. Very, very long spinners. Both teams actually going pretty even on that, China eking out slight advantage.
And it's important because if you believe this is a map where people could conceivably full combo, it could come down to spinner battles deciding the difference. Crystal
misses,
holding all the way through that one, but Arisial and Line both holding on the side of Chile. More misses from Kalyanet as well. Advantage Chile in the opening kind of 1/3 of this pick.
Yeah, but then Elden and Line QDXD misses again. Line following up with another one. China's gonna take it right back. They have all the combos of above 200. Line QDXD struggling a bit more than he would like to. He finds a double miss with Elden right there. Crystal and Arisial holding on those full combos still.
Once again, China running away with this one though. Arisial finally drops Kalyanet
Massive
down.
break.
2 massive combos still on the side of China. Eldenal and Lion QTXE both back up at 200 combos, so they're earning great score at this point. The score difference is actually very slightly coming back in favor of Chile because Arisial is out comboing Kalyanet. But they've built up a 100,000 point lead once again.
Yeah, it's a pretty big lead too. See these 2 combos from Dusk and Crystal, it don't seem like they're gonna miss. That's just how they're playing right now.
Crystal's still double S-ing at this stage, just hitting 900 combo. I don't think we've seen an FC yet in the
We have not.
map pool thus far.
More big spinners. The thing is, in the second key, I just copy paste of the same pattern that Dusk can intentionally miss, and that's where it is right there. All of China breaking. Eldeno and Line QDXD have combos. Eldeno breaks though. Line is still holding on.
It's all online. Elden
He's gonna
drops
bring it back.
several times again. Dusk drops as well though.
It's swapped.
China cannot buy a combo
Line's
right
finding
now.
him. Kalyanet.
Kalyonet's failed. I think even without the fail,
That's an actual
China
fail.
probably had that point. Lion
Yeah.
QTX brought that game back so well for Chile at the end there.
Even if Kalyanet passed, that would have been a win by 12,000 points for Chile, confirmed by the multiplayer link.
What a game. Chile finally do get on the board with their own pick. Still 4-1, but that's got to feel good to them.
Dude, that was super clutch by Line QDXD right there. Coming in at the very end of the map, holding a combo for 300 more notes than anyone else could in that whole section. Just so he can get the comeback for his team. Big props to him right there.
Dusk wasting no time in kind of being sad over the loss. He's going to go straight into China's next pick. They're going to be dabbling into the Hard Rock pool now that Double Time has been exhausted.
Oh yeah. China team,
Yakutai
China map,
Toshikokuri.
depicting their fellow native Chinese person. FD Floor 8 map. Hard Rock pick. China very strong on Hard Rock. With all the double times gone, Hard Rock is probably the next thing that they'd lean on. Thing is though, Chile is still relatively good at Hard Rock. They don't need Electric Wind for Hard Rock, unlike they did on Hidden. So I think they're gonna have their full Hard Rock team available.
How does Hard Rock affect catch? So smaller fruit size and catcher size, higher approach rate and HP drain, and also, for some strange reason that is not known to anyone, some objects can be displaced to the left or right, and it's fairly random as to how that happens or how large the displacement is. So you'll see some very, very odd-looking patterns in Hard Rock picks, especially at higher levels of difficulty.
It usually happens, something I've noticed ever since I started mapping, it usually happens when notes are just above 1x distance snap, or far from each other. I don't know why, and it also happens a lot with 1/6 notes, specifically. Don't ask me why, it just happens. That's what I've noticed.
But I want to know why.
I don't know why, ask Pepe.
So here we go, game number 6, China's third pick. They're currently leading 4-1. They've taken 2 break points off Chile. Chile have secured their first game of the match in the previous selection though, so they'll be looking for a way back into this one. You'd be forgiven for thinking that everyone would easily fly through this calm section at the beginning.
Oh, def. It's a lot harder than it looks.
With the increased approach rate and the low density, some of these notes are purely kind of memorization as to where they appear. Reacting kind of after you've seen the note appear very rarely gives you enough time.
Avisio finding the first break of the match, coming in about 240 combo. Nagi follows it up. Both teams gonna be about even as soon as everybody gets their combos back. But now we see Dusk and Nagi missing, as long as with Elden L.
Nacho L versus Crystal for the battle of full combos here as Arisiel drops again. Nacho L finally does drop a huge amount, but Crystal drops right afterwards. Chile still have the advantage here.
China do have slightly bigger combos.
Elden L drops though, the only large combo on Chile. China are going to take the advantage of that.
Yeah. Here we go, coming into the Ki section.
Elden will back up at 200 combos, so that gap has stabilized at about 25,000 points. One miss from China could allow Chile back in. One miss from Chile could seal it.
So many times right here too, as you said. And Nacho L finding more misses. China's holding strong with these combos. All of Chilean players are broken now, with Elden L being the last one to break. Coming into the last 1/4 of the map. We do see a double miss from Dusk and Nagi though.
But traded back by a triple miss from Chile though. Arisiel getting very low there.
Crystal's holding on.
I don't think we're going to see any fails or struggles in this calm outro, and I sure hope we don't, but that is a very impressive performance by Crystal in particular, and a strong team performance by China. Take their 5th point. It was a great comeback from Crystal, who had a real struggle in the middle section there.
Yeah.
To get that massive combo towards the end.
China taking that point by 315,000. Quite a big gap, even for a Hard Rock pick. Now, after seeing that for Chile, what do you pick? Do you go back to Nomad again? Because you got to think, you can't play Hard Rock after you just saw that.
Yeah. They clearly don't want to pick the last hidden selection. There are no mod maps in the kind of pool that aren't quite the same as Amphisbaena, but do work in similar ways. And if they think we're comfortable with that, then like I think Breakover would be a reasonable pick for them, but they have to just hope that China slip up on the consistency front. There really aren't many safe options left for Chile now.
I think Breakover and Maiden Love are the two picks for Chile here. After that, I don't know what they can do. They probably just go back to Hidden and hope they can do something at that point.
Klyce CTB saying, I started playing a couple of weeks ago and I can appreciate how difficult these maps are. Oh, believe me, you are not alone. I think both you and I have participated in the World Cup this year. Obviously, the US got a little bit further than my boys the UK did, but we both experienced the wrath of the map pool selectors on more than one or two occasions. I hope the commentator is not calling me Line Q. No, I am giving you your full title, Line QTXZ. Do not worry.
I'm pretty sure I have been too. I might have been saying Line or Line QT, but I don't think I've said Line Q.
Looks like Breakover will be their selection.
Yeah, NyanQTX3 picking up the Breakover map by Geus. NyanQTX3 being his previous name. Go back to the old days.
Go back to last year's World Cup when we had Sart Nyan and Chat Nyan.
Woosley.
Oh goodness. The memories.
Oh god, speaking of memories, those are memories too. Freshly mapped. Anyways, going back to this pick, I think this is the best pick for Chile, to be honest. Probably one of the easier picks. Something that China can find a few misses on if they're not being consistent on it for some reason. Something that Chile could possibly FC if they're feeling good on it.
I think it's definitely a pick that narrows the skill gap between the two teams considerably compared to a lot of the rest of the pool. Chile obviously an excellent team in their own right, but China just looking like they're on a little level above at this point, as they have been in previous matches and tournaments. Looking like we're going to be getting this one underway just a second. Game number 7. China currently holding a commanding 5-1 advantage. Double time has really been the difference maker between the two teams, although China have won twice on Hidden as well.
Yeah, it's like nothing is kind of safe for Chile after this pick. Yeah, I think if China wins this pick, it's going to be the big super mental is break on the side of Chile.
Yeah, Chile will be hoping
there.
that super mental is not break point number 3.
Ooh.
Oh, I've got your game. I've got your game.
I see, I see.
I raise you.
You know, I can't think of anything else right now, but I will come back at you with it.
There's
it's
another
not
joke
going to
here
be
somewhere.
break over.
I'm gonna find it.
Nacho coming with a really early miss on those one jumps.
Crystal missing as well at about 100 combo. The Kalyanet missing a whole section of sliders there, and again
Drop down to a B. Dusk, the only person with the full combo out of the intro. Is very surprising, I'd say. And that intro isn't that hard for most of these players, unless you're just not used to the speed.
The problem is I think Kalyanet was dashing too early, and if you miss one hyper dash, it's almost impossible to hit the next one. So he just missed a huge chain of notes. Line and Nachoel both dropping there though. Dusk drops when he hits 200 combo again.
The thing is that Calian and Crystal both have over 200 combo, while none of the Chileans have over 100, except for Lion QXE breaking there right now. Score gap is already at 200,000 and it's still growing.
Yeah, Chile finding it so hard to maintain any kind of combo here.
I think this is just the skill gap showing at this point, but Crystal does find a break on those left rights. More big spinners. Dude, that's like a 15-second spinner, 20-second spinner. Dude, that thing was so big.
Exactly why long spinners need big breaks after them. Elvenor and Crystal both getting baited by that large distance there. Just not able to see the note, it was obstructed by the bananas.
Mapper's note to Gigas. Fix your map.
Yeah, Kudosu in the mail, please.
Yep. I'll be waiting.
Yeah, China have a huge advantage at this point, about 250,000 points.
Yeah, Calian really struggled with Oyan, but he's bringing it back really strong. Seems like he got those timings down correctly. The ending of this map is pretty easy compared to the intro of the map for some reason. I don't know why, but it just is. All the players getting a nice combo in this ending. That's gonna be the point for China. Break point number 3, mental break is ensued.
You mean you're not going to come up with a new one?
Nah, I'm just sticking with the mental break.
China are now at match point, and that's Masayoshi E. Moore suffering for Chile.
Oh, God.
Got him, boys.
You know, you're going to be looking at these through Scarlet Rose tinted glasses because those are our next pick.
Oh, no! I don't want to
hit you with
this, but I don't want to lose.
Anyways, next pick is Scarlet Rose. Hard Rock pick. Back to China. It's not the Scarlet Rose that many other people know. It's not the big, hardest map in the game, Scarlet Rose. Different one. I believe this one is the loved PKK version.
It is correct.
This one quite a bit harder than the hardest game, hardest map in the mode.
Hardest game in this match.
Oh yeah.
Misanthropy, what's going on between GBH and Chicken? What kind of don't want to lose? Oh, we're just making silly puns and trying to outdo each other. I'm not sure it's a contest either of us really wants to win, but we have to keep going at this point.
Just gotta.
Might as well keep going. Exactly. If it's offending you and ruining your kind of enjoyment of the stream, I apologize. Full stop.
Remember, this is match point for China here. If they win this, they win this whole match, and they'll be playing versus Korea later tonight, actually, or tomorrow, depending on where you live.
Yeah, South Korea, China will be 12 UTC tomorrow. So for some people, that's potentially still the early hours of the morning. Or, I mean, is it tomorrow? And if you don't,
I thought they had a first.
Does it become Sunday if you stay up?
I don't know. I thought they had a match earlier.
South Korea, Chile would be at 1 UTC.
Yes.
It's looking like Chile are going to have to pull some serious comeback to get back into this one. Speaking of which, if you still believe, if you're one of the 3% of people that voted Chile in your pick'ems and you want to see them come out on top, share your love and support in the chat. They need it now more than ever before.
Oh, yeah. They're definitely going to need it here. Playing Hard Rock versus China, but we do see a substitution on the side of China. Kagami Reno 2 coming in for the first time, I believe, instead of Nagi on the Hard Rock this time. Maybe Chile sees this and thinks, this is our time. We can take a point from the guy who hasn't played a map yet. Who knows?
We have no idea what practicing he's been doing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Maybe he's been playing nothing but this map for the last hour.
It's like, oh yes, this is my map. This is my time to shine. Dusk finding a very
moment
early
of
miss.
glory has arrived. Nacho L saw an early miss. Aricion has dropped as well. then the drop from Natural as Eldnol. Crystal did get to 200 combo, but then drops immediately afterwards. Kagamine Rin holding that double S, looking like he is refreshed and ready to go.
Yeah, he's the only double S left. Only FC left, even.
Dusk not still... Did he miss early on?
Yeah, he missed early on. Missed at about 40 combo.
You are correct, he did. He's at that 200 combo mark as Arisiel joins him. Kagamine Rin does find a drop though, at about 350. Arisiel dropping as well though. Natuel just arriving at 200 combo in time to pick up the slack. Crystal and Dusk both with those 200 combos now. Eldnol has hit 200 as well.
Yep. It's about a 60,000 point gap lead in favor of China, but Kagamine Rin does miss again. It's a very big chime for Chile to bring back some points, as well as Arisiel and Crystal trading drops right there. Finding
Crystal
another one
actually.
Yeah.
Natural missing right on the end of that stair pattern though. He almost hit that. That was very unfortunate. Eldnol the only combo left on the side of Chile. The gap is still reasonably close. It's about 35,000.
But we see just Dusk. Dusk being Dusk is the story of this match right here. Even if you have one person who's almost keeping up with Dusk, he'll just do better than you. Even if you're trying to keep up with him, he'll be like, nah. There's actually a triple miss
for Chile. And Arisiel and Eldnol, 2 combos on the side of Chile dropping. Natuel dropped right before. China have Crystal and Kagamine Rin at that 200 combo mark. They can extend their lead slightly further.
Remember, this is only halfway through the map, so there still is the chance for Chile to come back from this 100,000 point deficit. Though it's looking pretty grim at this point. They do see the scores for a split second over there, so they know that they're down just by about 100,000 points. Oh no, breaking on the slow part too. That's devastating.
You know, it's a challenge when this is the slow, easier part.
Yeah. This is the part right before the Ki too. I believe the difficulty ramps up quite a bit with these upcoming streams. Nachel finding another miss, but all of China, look at China! All of them have over 400 combo. About to hit that 500 combo mark on Dusk, but as soon as he misses, but it's still Crystal holding on. Keeping the dreams of China
every time
up.
China see a miss, it's traded back in equal or greater measure by Chile. Just Nachoel hits 200 combo now, but Arisiel drops several times. Nacho drops, Eldnol drops. Chile have no combos left.
This
China
ending is so brutal though.
They've built a massive lead already.
Could we see a fail, maybe? I'm not too sure on that. But with how this ending is going, it might be possible if somebody misses a big hyper dash.
HP drain on this isn't too savage, but it's potential. The spacing is really quite obnoxious at this point. Someone would need to miss a whole stream, really.
Yeah, and it seems like that's going to be it. China is going to take the match versus Chile 7-1. They'll be playing versus Korea next day, tomorrow, or tonight, for the grand finals.
What a well played both teams. Great performance from all the players. Chile, unfortunately, have to settle for 3rd place for the 2nd year in a row, but it's been a great run by them. A more convincing run than their run last year. They looked a lot stronger, a lot more well-rounded. But for China, I think this is their 5th consecutive Grand Finals appearance.
5 in a row. That's insane if you think about it. All these players have been playing for 5 years in a row. Pretty much the same core 7 players, swapping one in and out each year. And they've been keeping this pace up for 5 years in a row. At the top level, highest of highest. Well, highest of highs. It's incredible when you think about it that way. Again, Chile taking home the 3rd place. Very commendable. They still get a badge, 3rd place badge, along with their catch prizes. Still very impressive.
One match remains.
South
Korea versus China. I'm going to bring a little summary of that to you very shortly, obviously, before we depart. There is the bracket. That's what we're looking for. China making their run once again back through the losers bracket. They're looking for revenge against South Korea, who defeated them in the winners bracket final last weekend. I think at the beginning of the tournament, 99.9 recurring percent of people would have predicted one, if not both of these teams to be contesting for the World Cup again this year, and so it is. The script has not lied. Korea versus China settling in for another grand final.
Not many people would have predicted Chile to be third place, though. I think most people were expecting either Indonesia, Hong Kong, or USA. Chile was right up there with them.
Various fortunes for those teams. Obviously, Indonesia got knocked out in that group of death with South Korea and Hong Kong.
Really unfortunate group.
Chile had that great run, looking very convincing over the US.
Yep.
And Finland, Hong Kong,
Barely getting eliminated.
France looked fairly terrifying right up until their match with Mexico, where they got run over pretty much. I mean, Mexico were definitely the kind of the
dark
pocket
horse
pick of the tournament for they've done better than I think anyone predicted that they would. So
this is the year for Mexico. Yeah. Big shout out to all those players. I know a lot of them are very excited at how they played. Very pleased. Oh man, this next match though. What's your prediction for this next match? Korea, China.
I think I put Korea like 7-1 or 7-2. I don't want it to be a sweep.
Wow.
But Korea are one of those teams that when they get ahead, they very rarely give up an advantage.
I know what you mean.
China can get a little bit angry. They can see red a little bit when they fall behind.
Yep. As soon as they lose one match in the winners bracket, they're like, all right, time to get serious.
Hopefully they're bringing their A game though. I'm just excited. It's going to be another fantastic grand final. We're going to find out who our 2019 Oscatch World Cup winners are in about 18 hours from now. It's going to be 8 a.m. tomorrow morning for me, so I'm going to be getting up nice and early.
Yep. 12 UTC for any of you guys just listening on.
So yeah, that will conclude our third place match, first of two matches in our finals week 2. South Korea versus China, the granddaddy of them all, coming to you tomorrow. Predictions are made, the map pool is set. You can obviously check that out on the stats sheet and the wiki page if you so wish. Banners are down. Thank you so much to everyone who purchased one in support of your favorite teams and players. So all that's left from us, Chicken Bible and I, is to say we'll see you again tomorrow very, very soon. Hoping to have a great turnout.
See you next time.